If you have been following this series on finding and identifying wildflowers of spring, I hope you're enjoying the series. I hope today you will be able to engage in a trek with me to find the next spring flower in the season, which has an interesting story to tell. Today we are looking for a little flower known as Ladies Smock or the Cuckoo Flower. This delicate little pale violet flower truly heralds the oncoming of spring and is announced by the sound of the cuckoo, to which the plant takes its name from. In this video, one of a series on finding and identifying wildflowers, we'll be taking a closer look at the cuckoo flower. Welcome to my channel, folks, Wildlife Ranger on YouTube for all things natural history. It seemed a shame not to film the habitat that we're in today whilst looking for the cuckoo flower, Cardamine pratensis. So we've just taken this opportunity to look at the overall habitat. We are in a piece of grassland which is semi-improved, but nevertheless it is damp and wet, as you can see from the rushes and other vegetation. And this is the ideal habitat for the plant that we are looking for today, which is the cuckoo flower, Cardamine pratensis. And it's so called as of the 1st of May, when the cuckoo is supposed to arrive. So is the cuckoo flower. And this is very important because the cuckoo flower is also the host of an early spring butterfly known as the orange tip. And at the moment, orange tips are flying in abundance. So again, some pasture land, semi-improved, rushes and other boggy type grasses. Cuckoo flower is a flower that likes the wet and the damp. We've just taken this opportunity in the late spring sunshine on the 20th of April to film the overall habitat that we've come to see for the plant of today, which is the cuckoo flower or Cardamine pratensis. It is so called because it is supposed to flower in and around the 1st of May. But today, being the 20th, it is clearly, as you can see from the imaging, flowering in advance of that date. I thought we'd just have a look at the habitat. What we're looking at is well-trodden grass with the Calderdale Way directly behind me. And also, in this section, it is damp, as you can see from the rushes and other wet type vegetation. And this is the kind of habitat that Cardamine pratensis likes. Damp, rich, wet soils. And we're just in between the boundary of where we found the cuckoo flower today with the boggy type area just directly over there and the well-walked hill slope directly up here. And it's actually on the route of what is called the Calderdale Way directly behind me. This quick panorama of the hill slope pasture shows the boggy areas towards the base of the slope. The orange tip, like many butterflies, is a flighty butterfly best observed or photographed in the afternoon sunshine after it is nectared or fed. This is the male and female orange tip butterfly, the male having orange tips and the female being distinctly bigger. We will return to the life cycle of the orange tip butterfly and the dependency of this butterfly on the cuckoo flower as its host plant and the family Brassicaceae. This little flower is a member of the cabbage family, the Brassicaceae, and it is known by a number of common vernacular names. The name cuckoo flower comes from the belief that the flower will bloom on the first song of the cuckoo without stutter or interruption on the 1st of May. The term milkmaids or ladies smock is reminiscent of a bygone agrarian era where they resembled ladies toiling in the field with their aprons of white or lilac. The suffix of the Latin name pratensis means of the meadow or from the meadow. As always, we look at systematically the characteristics and features of the plant which will enable us to identify it and find it in the field. These solitary stands of flower clusters are often found in wet or damp meadows and vary in their density from fairly close together to discrete stands further apart. Okay, so let's take a look at the plant in more detail, beginning with the flower structure. The cuckoo flower is a member of the family Brassicaceae or the mustards, and it is a perennial herb growing up to 60 centimetres tall. The rounded head of flowers contain 7 to 20 individual flowers which elongate into the typical fruit known as a silique. The small flower is four-petalled and is pale violet to lilac and is approximately 10 to 20 millimetres across. The flowers are scented. There are 6 stamens within the flower, existing in pairs, 2 pairs of long stamens and 1 pair of short stamens. There are 4 sepals, which are papery edged, and the tips are violet, as can be seen from the following video. If you look carefully, you will see that 2 of the sepals are inserted at a slightly lower level and are more bulbous in order to collect the nectar from the larger nectaries. The plant may be seen to flower between the periods of April and June. The following slide, which can be stopped at any time, contains further botanical details for those that may wish to study the plant in depth. Okay folks, let us consider the leaves of this plant. The basal leaves consist of a rosette of long stalked leaves, with the lower leaves broad and toothed, i.e. it has a rosette of leaves at its base. And for the sake of time and convenience, in the following botanical illustration we will look at the nature of the lower leaves. Turning our attention now to the upper stem leaves, which are narrow and have unbroken leaflets, i.e. they are pinnate with leaves 5 to 10 centimetres long, with 3 to 15 leaflets, each about 1 centimetre long. The short stalk stem leaves are alternate and pinnate. However, this probably can be best seen by looking at the video. Finally, we turn our attention to the confusion species, or species which are similar, namely the bittercresses. It is not the intention of this beginner's video to deal with the confusion species in detail. However, we do include a few slides pointing out differential characteristics in order to assist you with your confidence. As can be seen, being familiar with the finer flower structure is often the key to competent differentiation. Some plants, such as the dame's violet, may look superficially similar, but it will soon become apparent that the finer details of the plant differ in terms of the overall flower structure, leaves and presentation. So we're just going to conclude the video by briefly talking about the life cycle of the orange-tip butterfly in relation to this particular family of plants. Now, plants in the family Brassicaceae, specifically in the mustard family, make chemicals known as mustard oil glucosides. These glucosides are not much liked by insects, and they probably cannot metabolize them. Now, there is one group of insects in the family Pieridae, or the white butterflies, which have specialized to be immune to the toxin, and indeed evolution has adapted this species to make the cuckoo flower the preferred host plant for their caterpillars. You may also remember that we mentioned the orange tip in the garlic mustard video, where the alternative host food plant is in fact garlic mustard. In the case of the orange tip female, she will lay one egg, usually at the base of the plant's calyx, the calyx being a collective term for the sepals protecting the flower. The caterpillar will then emerge and eat its own eggshell, and if necessary, any of its close relatives around it. Well, that's it from me, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this little video on the secret life of the cuckoo flower and indeed the orange tip butterfly. I hope you can join me on the next track so that we can identify the next in the series of the spring flowers. If you have enjoyed this wildflower video, please like, share and subscribe and help this channel become successful and bring you the next wildflower in the series. In the next video, we'll be taking a close look at that stealthy and much overlooked plant of the hedgerow, perennial dog Mercury. Until the next one, folks, stay safe and be healthy.